Dashboards in Prevero enable us to bring together all the key information that we use to run and manage the organization. That data may come from one or many different sources, including Prevero itself. And we can show that information or that data in various different forms, such as a traditional table, which is interactive and allows me to drill down and view the hierarchy from a product perspective, or interactive charts. So here we have an interactive icicle chart, and as a user I can actually drill right down into individual SKU level. I can also, as a user, decide to include or exclude certain data elements in a chart. So here, if I wish to remove the data discount, I can do so, as well as the cost of material. Interactive bar charts again enable me to actually drill down and understand the data down to a bottom level. And I can just click to drill back up to the top level. There are multiple different charting options that are available in the Prevero dashboarding solution. We can now take a look at some examples of planning in Prevero. First of all, we'll take a look at an example of bottom-up sales planning. Here what we can see is we're planning down to individual SKU. I can make use of drivers and assumptions to generate certain elements of the forecast. So in this case, I'm taking a cost of material percentage to actually generate my cost of material number by looking at the sales price. We can set targets for individuals. So in this case, my target is 549,000 and I'm currently at 445,000. I need to get to that particular number. And what I can do here is make various different changes. So for example, what I may say here is that this number needs to be 15,000. And I can then decide how I actually wish to break back that change. Do I wish to change the price, or do I want to change the number of units to get to that 15,000? Alternatively, I could have actually just taken the top number here, changed that to 550,000 in this case, and let's just change that by unit to then get to our particular target. Here we're looking at totals at a year level, but what I could do is view this down to a much lower level of granularity. So in this case we're looking at month, but it could be down to week, day, or even hour. And we can add notes and commentary just by doing a right click and add a comment. And as a user, once I'm ready with my submission, I just click submit. And this will go up to the next level for review. And in that particular case, an email is sent to the reviewer and approver of this particular submission. So from a workflow perspective, you can have a workflow for each of the different processes in the plan. So in this case, we have sales planning workflow, an OPEX workflow, and even a workflow for the upload of data into Prevero. We're looking at sales planning. So what we can take a look at here is a real-time view of all the various different statuses in Prevero. And there is Christian Jones' submission that we submitted a moment ago with the date. And what I can do as the approver is either reject or approve. I can use this link here to jump straight to that particular submission. And I can also add notes and commentary. So if I choose to reject this particular submission, I can put a reason in here, and the submitter will get an email with the comment in the email to understand exactly why I've rejected the submission. We can now take a look at an example of HR planning in Prevero. In this example, we're going down to individual employee, but you could go down to groups of employees or use a combination of those different approaches depending on which department you're planning for. But here we have the name of the employee with salary, start date, pension schemes, and so on. You may have more columns, less columns, call them different things. They may be driving different things in your particular plan. It's entirely up to you. But with Prevero, we provide a flexible approach to HR planning. Where we have the pension scheme, for example, or the health plan, we may have different costs and different contribution rates apportioned to those. So as an example, I can view my personnel assumptions, And now we can see the contribution rates by different pension schemes, as well as costs by health plans, and UK specific requirements such as national insurance and PAYE bands. And this can vary from country to country. So Switzerland has its own set of specific assumptions. And we're looking at this for a particular cost centre, but I can actually view my entire headcount view maybe at the country level as well. And what I can see on here is really down to my security. Prevero adopts a fully integrated approach to planning. This means that all of our planning model is connected to our income statement, balance sheet and cash flow. As an example, here we have an income statement. The chart of accounts here would be your specific chart of accounts. But we have our actuals for 2016. We're comparing that to our budget 2016 and deriving a variance. And as a user, what I can do here is drill down into the data. So here I have 775,000 actuals. I might want to understand exactly how that's made up. So I just need to click on a number and I can drill down to individual product. So we can see the turnover number. We can also bring into view the discounts and also the cost of sales. So in one view, we get a clear picture in terms of our revenue and where our margin has been derived. The same works for costs. So for example, here I have 20,000 for salary and wages. And once again, I just need to click on that number and I can start to drill down and analyze exactly where that number's come from. Here I have my employment taxes. And once again, I can click and drill and understand exactly how those numbers have been derived. It's a very similar case for the balance sheet and the cash flow as well. Once again, this is just an example of a cash flow, but this is linked in to the rest of the model. So as we're making changes, those changes will flow through into this cash flow. And there we're looking at the key financial statements from a monthly perspective. We also support elements such as daily cash flow. At some point, we may wish to provide some commentary when reviewing, for example, our actuals to our latest budget or forecast. So what we can see here is by organisation and for the comparison period selected, my key commentary accounts, along with, of course, the actual numbers and the budget numbers, a variance, and then the commentary. I can also add attachments in Prevero. So these attachments can be Word, PowerPoint documents or Excel documents, it doesn't matter, but they can provide some backup to the commentary. When it comes to last mile reporting, we can still use Microsoft products such as Word, Excel and PowerPoint. You can integrate Prevero data into those various different document types. So here, for example, we have a Word document which is formatted exactly the same way as a standard Word document, including the generation of graphs and so on. However, key bits of information actually come from Prevero. So for example, this commentary has been entered into Prevero, and if we scroll back up to the top where we can see the units and descriptions, these are also coming from Prevero. So all I have to do is effectively connect to Prevero from this Word document. So I enter my username and password. I can refresh the document there and I can bring in the latest information. So in a Word document, for example, we can tag where a number appears, and then when that number changes, I just hit refresh and it will update the document accordingly.